Hello, welcome in on today's session. Today we're going to be going through Sarbanes Oxley, General Controls, Application Controls, and Spreadsheet Controls. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to view the webinar on the primer on General Controls. And that was really more related to information technology controls overall, holistically for a company. This is specifically related to how you're going to evaluate what things are important in regards to general controls, application controls, and spreadsheet controls for Sarbanes Oxley. So with that, I'm your presenter, Lynn Fountain. I've done the other Sarbanes Oxley webinars that are out there on Performative. There's quite a few of them out there now. They are designed to be combined to give you a real holistic look at what is required for the legislation and actually give you some background too on why those requirements are there. As I said, the primer that's out there on information technology general controls is really to provide an overview of the whole general control information technology process. You know, in today's world, information technology has become one of those things that sometimes we just take for granted. We think we're going to have our phones, we think we're going to have our TVs and our computers and everything else. Even as much as when Sarbanes Oxley was passed in our first year of attestation in 2004 and when it was passed in 2002, the advent of information technology is nowhere near where it is today. So things have transpired a lot, and the changes in Auditing Standard 5 along with the new COSO have us take a stronger look at what types of testing and documentation we are doing around our information technology controls. So this webinar is going to speak directly to that. I'm going to talk a little bit about Auditing Standard 5 again and when it was released, what they indicated in relationship to what you should be looking at for general controls. But I'm going to challenge you too to think about, you know, Auditing Standard 5 was released in 2007. Here we are into 2016 and beyond, and think about where technology has gone just in that time period. In that time period alone, the whole term the cloud has become one that's been very up and coming. You know, in the initial years of Sarbanes-Oxley compliance, I remember a lot of people having some difficulty in deciding, okay, how far do we take the testing and the evaluation for general controls and application controls? And many companies had very legacy type financial reporting systems that had been put in years ago, and we were wondering whether we were going to have to dig up the documentation on those types of systems or what exactly we were going to have to look at. So, you know, we really struggled at that point in time, and then they kind of took a step back and kind of balanced really the need to look at information technology controls and focus on those things that really related to financial reporting. However, this is where I'm going to challenge it. The world has changed, as we all know. Information technology provides us a lot these days. It's really no longer just that back office function that a lot of people used to think of it as. Information technology is of strategic importance to internal controls over financial reporting. That's how we pull all our information together. You know, our systems is where we get all our information from our subsidiaries. We consolidate everything. We pull it together for our reportings in our SEC reports. So it's important that it be adequately evaluated from both a general controls and an application controls perspective. With that in mind, here's the agenda that we're going to go through within this segment. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning. I've been trying to keep the segments close to maybe an hour or 90 minutes. This one might run a little bit longer because I wanted to keep all general controls, application controls, and spreadsheet controls together as one. But I've broken them up into segments, so hopefully that will help. What we're going to go through is information technology and Sarbanes Oxley. How do we identify what controls we're going to evaluate? Then we'll talk about IT control framework and an approach to evaluating information technology in today's world of Sarbanes Oxley. We'll talk about entity level controls, specifically to information technology, and then we'll get into the details more of application versus general controls. In the first section, I'll talk a little bit about the variance between application controls and general controls, and then I'll get more into the specifics of general controls and general controls as they relate to financial reporting. We'll then do the same thing with application controls and talk about those specifically. And then I'm going to get into a concept that Auditing Standard 5 refers to as baselining. And in 2007, when Auditing Standard 5 came out, they gave some clarification in regards to what we might look at from an information technology perspective for Sarbanes-Oxley. And they came up with this baselining process. So I'll go through that. I'll talk about what the intention was, what you may look at, how you may update that baselining, and then we'll also get into spreadsheet processes, because for many companies, spreadsheets, are ancillary to your internal controls over financial reporting. You may use them very strategically in developing some of your consolidated reports, so they can be very important. So this